Bulgaria is a diversely landscaped country with a long history, which has left it rich in ancient culture and endowed with a beautiful natural environment. There is something for everyone to discover in this brave and lovely Balkan nation, with high rocky peaks housing picturesque mountains, enormous national parks where endangered animals roam free, swaths of sandy beaches that hug the Black Sea, along with remnants of the Soviet rule. Bulgaria offers everything from sun-kissed beaches to fascinating historical tales, bustling party towns to snow-covered ski resorts between its borders. The Balkan Mountains and the Rhodope ranges both roll down to meet the sparkling blue waters of the Black Sea. Let's look at some of Bulgaria's best tourism destinations. 1. Rila Monastery. Visit Rila Monastery to take in the tranquil atmosphere amidst the Rila Mountains. The Eastern Orthodox Rila Monastery, built in the 10th century and revered as a significant historic and cultural landmark, is a masterpiece of architecture. The largest monastery in the country, known as the Jerusalem of Bulgaria, is filled with intriguing religious symbolism, including wall murals, carvings, and ancient treasures. Around 60 monks continue to live and work in the ornate buildings of the ancient monastery, which is still in operation. They do so in the serene quiet of the monastery. The monastery stands out from the surrounding forested mountainous scenery thanks to its distinctive stripes, softly curving arches, and crowning domes. 2. Old Nessebar. Since 9,000 years ago, Nessebar has been enticing tourists, and it continues to do so today. The quaint ancient Nessebar town, located on a rocky peninsula connected to the mainland by a causeway, is a veritable open-air museum full of lovely squares, churches, and cobblestone streets. Roman and Byzantine eras are represented in the town's history and monuments, and the old town wall's remnants may still be seen. Take a look at the charming traditional timber homes constructed on solid rock foundations, relax and watch the windmill on the bridge connecting the old and modern towns, and enter the gorgeous cathedrals and chapels quietly. The historic section of Nessebar, which includes Roman baths and fortifications from the Byzantine era. There is also the well-known St. Stephen Church from the 11th century, which features a decorative altarpiece and several mural paintings. Aside from this, one can sunbathe on the beaches, engage in water sports, savor seafood, or have a wild time at the water park beside the shore. 3. Pirin National Park. The Pirin National Park is a jewel of Bulgaria, with more than 70 glacial lakes, ancient forests, and towering 2,915-meter peaks and ridges. Many different kinds of endangered species that seek refuge in the Balkan mountain range can be found in the national park. Brown bears, wild boar, gray wolves, and jackals are just a few of the large creatures that still wander the slopes. This is a remote and wild environment that is in danger from expansion by ski resorts. Spend your time in the breathtakingly gorgeous park hiking the many trails, biking through the alpine meadows, or fishing next to waterfalls. You can even spend the night in one of Pirin's huts while visiting the well-known Macedonian pine tree called Bejkovača, which is thought to be 1,350 years old. 4. Plovdiv Roman Theater. One of the best preserved ancient theaters in the world is located in the heart of Plovdiv Old Town. The strikingly magnificent building was found in the 1960s and is assumed to have been constructed during the reign of the Roman Emperor Domitian. It dates back to the 1st century AD. The location would have been significant to the ancient towns since it served as a venue for public events like meetings of the local government and renowned fierce gladiator battles. The theater can accommodate an impressive 7,000 spectators and is still used for opera and musical performances. Stroll through the town's historic cobblestone streets and up the hill to the ancient theater. Sit among the rows of sloping seats and enjoy the peace and unobstructed views of the surroundings. 5. Tsarevets Fortress, a monument of Bulgaria's former glory, was erected on the site of the medieval Tsar's palace, which stood there 800 years ago when Tarnovo served as the country's capital. Discover the remnants of numerous churches and more than 400 dwellings as you explore the old winding ruins. The fortress's strategic placement, at 206 meters above sea level, enables panoramic views of the surrounding countryside to show how the kingdom was shielded from invasion for many centuries. The stronghold requires a lot of walking up steep hills, but since there is no other way to enter the fortress than on foot, you can explore the grounds and scale the ancient walls in peace. Tsarevets Fortress is situated on the outskirts of the town. This was once the epicenter of Bulgarian rule. Today, all that remains are the ruins of its former splendor, but it is still a striking location to visit. 6. Vitosha Mountain. People travel to Vitosha Mountain, which has a distinctive dome form and is close to Sofia's urban sprawl, to get away from the city and appreciate nature. The mountain is close to the city and is reachable by bus, foot, and ropeways. It has its own ski resort, excellent hiking trails, and breathtaking panoramic views of the city below. The highest point of Vitosha Mountain is 2,290 meters high, and it draws tourists all year round who want to explore the park that covers the majority of the mountain and is the oldest of the Balkans, as well as the mineral springs in the foothills. The Vitosha Mountain is well known for picnics, day excursions, and skiing because of its dense mountain peaks and pine woods. There isn't a nicer area to spend a lovely activity in the mountains for Sofia things to do. The easiest way to get here is through Aliko, the mountain ski resort, which promises more adventure than you can possibly imagine. 7. Buzludzha Monument. The now demolished Buzludzha Monument is a marvel of Soviet proportions and an icon of brutalist architecture. The enormous monument, which the Bulgarian army built in 1974, was created by a number of the sculptors and artists in charge of statuary at the time. Dimitar Blagov and other socialist leaders described Bulgaria's revolution into a communist state at the monument, which is located on the site of a conflict between Turks and Bulgarians that occurred in 1868. The once stoic building is now defaced with political graffiti, which includes large images of Marx and Lenin, as well as inscriptions on the facade. The enormous socialist shrine in the form of a flying saucer was abandoned after the Soviet Union fell, but it has since developed a peculiar draw for individuals who are interested in the period's history and eye-catching architecture. 8. The Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, the unmistakable emblem of Bulgaria, is located in the center of the breathtaking city of Sofia. The cathedral, which was built between 1882 and 1912 with funds provided by the local populace, was created as a memorial to the 200,000 Russian soldiers who lost their lives while battling for Bulgaria's independence from Ottoman domination. The cathedral itself has opulent ornamentation and a debauched 45-meter-tall gold-plated dome. You can wander through the interior among the many intricate mosaics, significant murals, and representations of saints and angels. Huge chandeliers hang low, dripping with decadent gold, and the altar and pews are made of solid wood that has been expertly carved. 9. Koprivshtitsa. Despite being one of the most beautiful towns in Bulgaria, Koprivshtitsa is not very well known among foreign visitors. It is situated in a valley surrounded by lush mountains in the country's central region, about 110 kilometers from Sofia. Koprivshtitsa is renowned for its exquisite architecture. There, you can find several historical homes from the 19th century constructed in what is known as the Bulgarian Revival style. Visit some of them to observe intriguing interiors from the era the houses date from. Several of them now serve as the museums of well-known Bulgarians. But it's okay if you just get to see the architecture from the outside because the structures have unique shapes, vibrant colors, and elaborate ornamentation. It seems that time has somewhat stopped in Koprivshtitsa. Make sure you explore the town on foot, without a map, get lost in its labyrinth of winding streets, and fall in love with its quaint nooks. 10. Vitosha Boulevard. Mount Vitosha, a geographical symbol of Sofia, inspired the naming of Vitosha Boulevard. It serves as Sofia's primary thoroughfare for commerce and retail. It extends from St. Nedelia Square to the southern park. There are high-end shops, eateries, and bars all the way down the route. The roadway was lined with one-story homes before the emancipation in 1878. Between the two world wars, it evolved into a significant time commerce street. The National Palace of Culture, the Palace of the Courts, the home of poet P.O. Yavarov, and the Pharmacy, a well-known bar, are the most notable structures on the boulevard. Another renovation, intended to revive some of Sofia's 1930s style, was announced in 2007. There were installed benches, vintage streetlights, and Art Nouveau kiosks. There were now green spaces. Then came fountains, outdoor bars, and a clock tower at St. Nedalia's that displayed the time in several major cities around the world.